Yes guys, we've done it. Welcome back to the channel. Special year for me. My son was born on the 25th of May 2005, so this is extra special, and I will be there on the victory parade day. Enjoy. Here's the celebrations from today. Please click a like, share and subscribe. Thank you. There we go guys, Liverpool's won the league. 4 minutes. 4 minutes at it too.
This is what Liverpool Football Club is all about. Now Jerry Marston's anthem. Over to you, John.
Never walk alone. Walk on, with all your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
Wow, we've seen it all. Aldo's seen it and done it. He was stood on the cork as a young nipper, cheering on his beloved Sir Roger Hunt. That's why he wore number 8 for Liverpool Football Club. Aldo next to me now is filming a sea of Liverpool shirts. You've seen it all on this ground, Aldo. This is
I've been lucky.
as good as it gets. This.
Yeah, I've been lucky to see the best team in England now by a mile.
This is special, isn't it?
Yeah, been spoiled all my life. Yeah, been very lucky.
Here's Tottenham on the ball in the Liverpool half at the moment. Liverpool 5, Tottenham 1 is the score. We've took Spurs to the cleaners. It's been a perfect day, as Lou Reed once sung the famous song. Oh, the slot's name, tearing up the decibel levels. Brilliant. It's Salah. What a turn. We might score again. It's Nunes. He's got Jones to his left, tries to shoot, deflected wide for a corner.
Jota was right there in the middle, and he's not for a shot. He just took a little bit wide, didn't he?
Yeah, the Liverpool lads are on their feet down the line. Unbelievable moments here. Incredible. And now it's Diogo Jota in the box waits. As Andy Robbo prepares to take the corner. Champions! Champions! Is the chant. Robertson from the right wing with a corner for Liverpool in stoppage time. Coming out of 6th. Virgil's up there, cleared away by Spurs.
Oh, yeah, good.
Now, Van Dijk, Kanate. It's a bit wayward, but
It's not good. Oh,
Robbo couldn't quite get there on the right. He's forgiven for some miscontrol. He shall not be moved. It's the way from Anfield. Here's Harvey Elliott. We'll leave it. Richarlison's trying to start a fight with Harvey Elliott at the end.
he's an absolute dickhead. He's only got
Final.
an absolute idiot.
Pantomime Elliott.
Absolute idiot.
Richarlison. And Richarlison gets another card. And Harvey Elliott gets one too.
Absolute nuggets, as we say.
I don't know what Richarlison's playing today. Forget about him.
Yeah, it's not a... It's about... You know,
He's been an idiot, Richarlison, isn't
Liverpool players embracing on the touchline. Dominic Szoboszlai embracing with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Cody Gakpo on the bench with Federico Chiesa, Jarell Kwanzaa, Wavine Kelleher, who's played his part as well, the goalkeeper, when Alisson missed a lot of football. Nunes chases. We've not got long here, folks, I'm telling you. It's close. It's emotional. It's Jones. Keeper was off his line. Curtis tries a lob. And Vicario holds on. Referee checks the watch. We're at 94 minutes exactly now. On the slot as a smile as wide as the mercy.
He's a cut watch.
Champions! Premier League champions! 20 not out! This is in our DNA! This is what Liverpool Football Club was built for! Moments like this! Incredible moments like this! It was unbelievable at the end, as far as Liverpool are concerned. Incredible! It's
our fans. I've seen us doing it with European Cups the last few years, and you know, in a long time.
McAllister, what he's won. This is special. This is different. You sense it, you feel it, you smell it, and this football club is just creates those memories for you, and you have to say that every moment, every given moment. That they don't want to go off, and I don't blame them, because I'd like to think it'll happen again. But you got to think it might not, and savour it.
And that's why I said at the top of the show, had Crystal Palace beat Arsenal in the week, they would have done this in a hotel altogether. And it's not the same. Listen, the achievement obviously is what they've done, but look at this now, having earned it today, here, at
Jason,
Anfield.
without James Tarkovsky, his last minute goal, that game, it would have got finished on Wednesday. So James, thank you for that, thank you. In all honesty.
We just had a great chorus for Mo Salah, and it seemed fitting, didn't he, that he scored twice in this rout this afternoon. The outstanding player of the Premier League season, Mo Salah.
Yeah, and as well as contract now, all the negotiations are finished. He's tied to the club for another 2 years. This is why. Massive numbers this season, performances hit and miss sometimes. I don't think you can say he's been brilliant the whole season, but the majority of the time he's produced absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I get that, Tomo, I get that, but brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant that he contributes today. Absolutely brilliant.
And to go back to what we were talking about right at the top, that there are 10 Liverpool captains to win a league title. There are now 11, the first non-British one to do so, Virgil van Dijk, who has been a colossus in every way.
He is, colossus. He's been a giant for this football club. He's been a leader. Everything that you want from your captain.
First Dutch captain to win the Premier League.
And
after him to a Premier League
what he
title.
wants and what he
More history made by the Reds.
not just of himself, but of everybody else. It's just incredible.
I think he puts himself in the equation now of being one of the greatest centre-halves at Liverpool. Oh, Tomo.
The only thing I can do now is I send my appreciation to Jürgen. So there we go.
I'm right to say.
Virgil van Dijk was speaking about how important it was for everybody to be in red. It was an absolute spectacle, and it was just a cauldron of noise right throughout the entire game today. Yeah, it was. But I think even before the game, it was already clear that we would lose this game. The way we arrived here with the bus, I think everybody who was sitting in the bus felt there's no way we're going to lose this game. And of course, the boys thought, let's make it difficult for us again to go 1-0 down. But they always find a way to win. So send them appreciation. How was it possible, this wonderful football team, almost untouchable this year, you did it with games to spare. How proud are you of the players this season? Incredible, incredibly proud. But not only on the players, I think everybody knows what effort they've put in this season and for the last few years, but the people who are standing here, as a chief, sports directors, everyone, my staff members, we should give them a big round of applause as well. Just one more if I may, there's so many inside this ground that will have never seen this before. The fact that COVID robbed us of the opportunity to celebrate it all together. I know the other night it could have happened without playing the game, but how important was it and how emotional was it that everybody was together to celebrate this monumental moment?
And this is so much of mine as a player, I think as a supporter, as a fan, and as a staff member as well. So let's forget that it's the second in 35 years. It's the second in 5 years.
Well, what a debut season it has been in the Premier League for Arne Slot, delivering the title at his first crack as Liverpool head coach. He had the hardest of acts to follow, replacing the great Jurgen Klopp at the end of last season, but he has done it, and he has done it in style as well. He maybe might have doubted just before he walked over and got himself started whether he could adapt to the Premier League as a head coach, Arne Slot, but we spoke about it at length pre-match. But there was a moment where he kept himself out of the celebrations and let his players take the adoration of the Kop, but now he is revelling in it, he is basking in what he has achieved and how he has guided them to glory.
It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. And you know, we talked about how he manages games and his meticulous work off the pitch and behind the scenes. Like Tomo was saying, the foundations are here at Liverpool to go on and dominate. And he will know halfway through the season, identifying players he wants to bring in. He knows looking forward. He won't have sat on his morals now and I've just seen this season out and then just won the league. He knows moving forward what he needs to do. Everybody's going to strengthen in the summer. All the big teams are going to strengthen. And he knows he needs to stay ahead of the game.
This is where the club need to take some of the sort of the accolades for choosing Arne Slot. Because if you remember, Amarin was one of the front runners. And there was something about him, the way he wanted to play, his personality. And you see how difficult it's been at Manchester United. So what Arne Slot has done at this football club should not be understated. It has been absolutely wonderful.
But as we were saying, one of the reasons why it's been so impressive is to follow someone so good, and it was the same, I guess, from Shankly to Paisley, that you have to do it your way, but still build on what's been left for you.
And what he did, don't forget, he eased himself in. Once Jurgen was out the door, he didn't come straight in. I'm in his seat, he let that evolve before he actually come and stamped his ideas on the football club, because he had respect, as he's just done it for Jurgen before. That's why he's a humble man, and that's why he fits our criteria, our values. And I think that was so important to get that side of it right, even before the tactics set in.
And I guess the contrast as well, Jason, between the two of them is so significant. Two men who are delivering success in different ways, that we saw the Arne Slot fist bumps pretty much for the first time right towards the end, well, during the celebrations not too long ago. Jurgen Klopp incredibly emotional, incredibly engaged, where Slot has been so cool, so calm. Even today at 4-1, he was sort of pointing to his temple, to his players, to say, look, let's finish this off, let's see this job right through to the end.
Leadership comes in all different shapes and sizes, you know, and it doesn't matter how you do it as long as you're successful. And they are two contrasting managers. We spoke about the introvert, extrovert of the personalities of Slot and Jurgen Klopp, and they are massively different. I think the second half of the season, when the pressure ramped up a little bit, I think you see more emotion come out of Arne Slot. But he did really try and keep a lid on it, didn't he? And we touched on, everyone was celebrating, and he detached himself from the celebrations. I don't know whether he was just taking it all in, but it was kind of like, it looked like he was just wanting to be on the edge of it, to be honest, and let the lads go and enjoy it, and not be about him. That speaks volumes for the way his leadership qualities are. And listen, he's been massively successful doing it by winning the title.
And he knows, this is Liverpool, you've got to go again. You can't rest on your laurels. You have to push. There's got to be changes to be made. Not just incomings, but outgoings. It's a hard job and you've got to make big decisions. And I think he's capable.
Let's see this ovation for Trent Alexander-Arnold.
What time's breakfast?
That's nice, that, Trent.
Yeah,
Really nice. I know it. We don't know. It's not been announced officially, but if it is, that's a nice touch.
I mean, it's the now. It's the now. So we should be celebrating.
Exactly.
You know, no matter what goes on, it needs to be done for them, and to let them know that there's a lot of love for them.
This debate that he shouldn't be involved, I'm not buying into it, Rob, at all.
Well, from one fullback to another in front of the Kop, it's gone from Trent Alexander-Arnold to Andy Robertson, another one who's seen all of the good days, seen some very difficult days in his own career. Will always be reminded, Jason, of the times when he was outside the Scottish Premiership and that famous tweet about not having too much money to his name and wondering whether it was all worth it carrying on, Andy Robertson, and now he's a double Premier League champion, he's the Scotland captain.
Champions League winner.
Champions League
FA Cup winner, he's done a lot. He's up there with like Tomo. But, you know, halfway through that season, you're looking at the players who've been there and done it. There's a lot of players in that dressing room who haven't done it. He's one of the ones who has. He knows how to talk to players, bring them back down, bring them back up. You know, a manager can only get across his voice at certain moments. Sometimes it's up to the players, the likes of Virgil, the likes of Andy Robertson. You know, invaluable inside the dressing room.
I was going to say, how important do you think those that have won it before have been in the last 3 or 4 weeks?
They will be more vocal. They will be trying to help them all over the line. What it takes, keep calm. Now we've got to open. Now we've got to keep together, make sure that it's our units. And no one's been a Virgil's been there. So they're the ones that you lean on.
Luis Diaz, the man who started the comeback today with that goal that was initially flagged offside, but Dominic Szoboszlai was on, and Luis Diaz, who has been playing as a number 9 for large parts of this season, again, it is a testament to the adaptation and the coaching of Arne Slot that he decided he might work down the middle, and work it has.
Got that trick, didn't he? I think in one of his first games in the Champions League, and everyone went, aye, got another centre forward here. So he's had to adapt his game, but he can do it. He's clever enough to do it.
And he brings something different. He picks holes. He understands the press, when not to press. He's been a revelation this season.
Diogo Jota, the next man to get his moment in the sun. And I guess for someone like him, Jason, you would know because you had injuries at parts of your career that there are times when you're in rehab, when you're in the gym on your own, where you're away from your mates and you wonder whether it's all worth it. It's moments like that for people like Diogo Jota, for Joe Gomez, who's sadly injured today, that all that rehab is worth it to become a Premier League champion.
It's a lonely process, being injured, and there's always that element of doubt. You might not just get back. So it can be difficult depending on the injury. But they've all played their parts, Rob. They've all played their parts at different times, coming back from injury, slotting in.
But Ryan Gravenberch, who they're singing about now, he's been the one surprise element this season, as much as Gakpo's done well. Luis Diaz changing different positions. The emergence of Ryan Gravenberch as a holding midfield player has been a masterstroke.
And we'll get to it as well, Jason, with highlights of the season, moments of the season, but for you, it was the goals that Darwin Núñez supplied at the G-Tech to take Liverpool past Brentford.
Yeah, you know, I spoke at the top of the show about really, really good teams finding a way of winning football matches, and at 0-0, Brentford, middle of January, when you've just got over that long Christmas period, you're having to grind out results. 0-0 away from Brentford, would we have took it? Probably would have took a point. Then all of a sudden, Darwin Núñez has come on, bang, 2 goals in 2 minutes, and it just made me think.
There's a lookalike there of
But I also think
Pierce
everyone
Brosnan.
around us, like Arsenal, Chelsea, City, all of them would have looked and gone, I tell you what, they're grinding this out. This might be their year.
Some goal from this fella today.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, strike.
I think that was the big one. I do, when you think, yes, Luis Diaz is not over the line, but what a strike on his weaker foot, and it flew past Vicario.
Ibrahima Konate, the latest to make it in front of the Kop. And I guess, Tomo, you would comment on his improvement this season.
And
particularly in the first half of the campaign,
This
he was almost as good as Virgil van Dijk.
Well, that's it. You look at him, he's got so much pace. He does so well on recoveries, and that's what you do, because with Trent, he goes inside, so he leaves that space open. It took him a little bit to get to understand that, but he's been a revelation. His performances, when you think he didn't start against Ipswich, it was Gerrard, and so for him to come back in, not be upset, and his performance has been top class.
Great teams through history, I think, will always look upon the foundations defensively, and certainly the keeper and the two centre-halves, that triangle. If you've got consistency in that triangle there, certainly in that centre-half position where they play consistently, you've got a chance. Liverpool has been like, once then it was Joe Gomez with Virgil van Dijk. They've all had little spells, but this season the two of them have really struck up a solid partnership. Probably the best in Europe, to be honest, them two.
Joe Gomez, who will not have contributed as much as he would have wanted to, because once again, sadly poor Joe has had his injuries this season, and such a shy guy. But again, I think Liverpool supporters recognise a squad man. What a squad man. What certain players who don't start every week but don't moan about it, but do their bit, and Joe is certainly one of them.
Listen, I don't know Joe personally, but when you hear other players talking about him, he seems to be, and he's been here so long, he's the one guy who you go, they all respect him for what he does, what he's there. He doesn't complain, doesn't rock the boat, and I think he's done brilliant. And it's sad about his injuries, and you could see that coming against Plymouth, because I don't think he was quite right.
Conor Bradley has been and gone as well. Pretty much every single Liverpool player is getting their moment on their own. Serenaded, yeah. And
Tom will be next.
let's go back to Alexis McAllister then, because you said that you felt that was the turning point this afternoon, that absolute rocket to make it 2-1. We've talked to players that have experience of going the stretch in the Premier League, but what about players who have the experience of strolling out in a World Cup final? And that's massive on a day like today as well. He never looks phased, Alexis McAllister.
No, listen, playing in the World Cup final can only stand you in good stead for moments like this, where you've got to deal with the emotion of the game. He'll know the enormity here today, and he's another one, albeit he hasn't won, he's been in that winning dressing room, that mentality with great players. So his experience today would have been invaluable.
He's a proper professional, a proper guy that you have in your ranks. I mentioned it before, he scored a last minute winner for Brighton against Man United, and he come on the TV after it and he was being interviewed. Very, very calm, and the way he talks, I said to my boys, he's got all the mannerisms a man as a Liverpool player. So surprisingly, someone when they bought him, you knew you had good character. You know your players when you listen to them and you see them. And McAllister's brought so much to that midfield.
But it was interesting as well last season, Jason, because of all the injuries, he had to sort of put McAllister in different places, but because he's so good, he can play as a 6 or an 8 as a 10, whereas this season there has been that continuity of him and Gravenberch next to each other every week. They read each other's games, they concertina very well, and they have been a stable part of what has been a finely tuned machine.
Yeah, them three have struck up a really good Theresa Mavaney, that trio of players you've just mentioned. I think you've got McAllister as the cool, calm head who likes the ball. You can give it to him anywhere on the pitch. Distribution's really good, full range of passing. You've got Gravenberch, who's explosive, will get it on the half turn and break and like put up the ground and find something. And then you've got the worker Szoboszlai, who starts to press, everyone gets round, and it really is, it's great ingredients to have as a threesome, and they've all played their part, as I keep saying, but them three in midfield, absolutely tremendous.
It's utilising the attributes of all the players, and those two playing the way they did, McAllister and Gravenberch, it allowed Szoboszlai to use that high energy. He used it because he was able to go sort of.
Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones as well at times in that number 10 position throughout the course of the season. But to go back, Jason, to Ryan Gravenberch, and it was interesting, he was with us on the pitch, or just pitch side at Leicester last week, and he said it wasn't
Go
too
then,
long
guys.
before the
Settling
start of
down
the
now,
season
we're all
where
coming
Arne
back in.
Slot said, have a crack at playing number 6, which he's not really done before, but he has that ability to sort of get the ball on the half turn from his defenders and just move away so gracefully from trouble and then advance the attack very quickly because of the way he carries the ball.
I think when we bought him, he obviously had a lot of potential, high-profile player, courted by a lot of clubs in Europe. Don't know if he quite suited the way Jurgen Klopp wanted him to play, and he never really settled. But again, you find a manager, new management comes in, new leadership team, and he seems to have took to water with the way Arne Slot wants him to play. Like I said, he's always available, gets it on the half turn. He's not afraid to do the hard work when we haven't got the ball, puts his foot in, wins a tackle, but he's got that explosive little 5 or 10 yard when he gets away from players, opens things up. So yeah, another one that's come on under Arne Slot this season.
See, you look at Ryan Gravenberch and you go, because with the way he was sort of playing under Jurgen, he's playing a little bit further forward. He's getting caught out a lot, getting caught in there. But as a number 6, we're all looking for a Fabinho, or somebody who can put a tackle in, win the headers. And Gravenberch is a different quality. Now to me, that's a good management, because Arne Slot have seen what he could do, maybe seen a bit more in Holland than what we knew of him, and he's gone, no, you can play that 6, you can glide past people.
And the great thing actually about the 4 main midfielders, they're not at their peak yet, you would say. They're all sort of early to mid-20s. Gravenberch, Jones, Soberslai, they've all got more to come. McAllister too.
And the thing is, where are they going to want to go? You know, there's no better place than this, is there? And like I said before, when you taste this and go over the line, you're right, there'll be great ages to have this foundation to take the club into a different, an even bigger level of domination. Now that's what we want.
And the thing is, going forward, some of these players will know there'll be players coming in, which we have to strengthen. You have to do that. You have to evolve even more. And so maybe they're a bit nervous. So they should be. We've all been there. Jason blames me for him leaving, and Mark Robinson comes in and goes, I'm going to fight you off. But you know it, you sense it, you're not happy with it. The football club has to move on, and Arne will be making good, big decisions, and hopefully good decisions.
I think the thing is as well, and I think this is why Guardiola deserves the credit that he gets, is he's managed to keep the desire and the hunger in his Manchester City team to win it, 4 times on the spin. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, you could quite easily let complacency step in. So I think it's a real test out for the manager moving forward, how he handles the team and the squad. Just keep that hunger now. I mean, what was the driving mechanism for your squad to go on and win all the time?
Do you know, when we were sort of playing, it was that we wanted to go again. Not like we enjoyed it and we sort of revelled in it, it was great. No, it was that. No, we were such a team and such characters.
Do it again.
We go again, because that was great. But we want to do that again and prove to people how good we actually were. So there was this drive and things. When you've got people, the likes of Dalglish, Jimmy Case, Graham Souness, Terry McDermott, Alan Hansen, proper players. We were a driving force continually.
I just wanted to touch on, actually, you mentioned Simicast there, but another when we were talking about the midfield, those that you would describe maybe as squad players, were Taro Endo, who again, the manager has spoken about a lot this season, and just doesn't moan, he probably knows that he has limitations compared to a Gravenberch or a McAllister, but ask him to play centre half, he does it. Ask him to come on and play 20 minutes to see a game out, he does it. And for every superstar, you need someone who just comes in, does their bit for the team.
To touch on the moaning, I don't actually mind moaning from a player who's not in the team. It shows he's got a bit of desire and wants to play and wants to know why he's not playing and where he wants to improve. If it's moaning like that, I don't mind it, but I understand the nature of the personality that you're talking about. And yeah, you need players around who are going to do that, you know, who are going to come in, do a job, know his position in the team, knows he's a squad player, but when he's called upon, he gives that 110%. And I think he's got a great record of, I don't think they've ever lost when he's come on the pitch, have they? I think he holds that record. When he's come on, Liverpool have never lost.
Get that checked.
Get it checked, I think I'm right.
I don't know whether that's the enthusiasm of a league title winners. Are you talking about this season or just generally?
I think this season.
Okay, that seems more realistic.
Is this a quiz programme?
Yeah.
It's not, if it is, it's not very good. Well, I can tell you that.
Endo's been on the pitch.
We will hope to bring you some reaction as well, by the way. Hopefully a couple of the lads will come and join us as well throughout the course of the time that we're on air. Just wanted to talk about as well, when we were seeing those with their nation's flags wrapped around them, and when they were sat there on the turf, and probably when they go and sit in the dressing room now, or even when they get home later, you think of all the sacrifice. And people used to talk about Mo Salah doing 4-hour round trips on buses to get to training and back, and others who would have gone through hardship and tough times for this.
This is the size of this football club. They go back to the countries, everybody's watching this game. This will be beamed everywhere. So there must be in Argentina, Hungary, wherever you want to go, Egypt. It'll be getting beamed. Yes, it's a chore at times, having to make these journeys. And I'll tell you something, they will be lauded back. And we have made not just stars of these players, we've made superstars of these players. So when they go back and they're lauded, it's no hardship, believe me, Rob.
It really is a global game now. And Tomo's right, you know, these players now are superstars in their homeland, where they come from, all corners of the globe. And it's a phenomenal achievement. They'll go back and just Liverpool, obviously the football club and the work that they've done behind the scenes with the partnerships and travelling out to Asia. It all plays its part in lots of different ways, bringing in revenue from lots of different areas. But for the players, you know, they are heroes in their countries because of moments like this. And
could I just ask you, how to get all corners of the globe?
I don't know.
The quiz continues. But I guess the point is that, you know, the scenes that we've seen and we'll see around the city of Liverpool tonight will be replicated in places like Cairo, where this achievement from Mo Salah, they won't sleep tonight. It will be a huge reflection, and the people of Egypt so proud, people of Hungary so proud to have a first Premier League champion like Dominic Szoboszlai.
Please don't forget, we had 2 decades of Manchester United. Manchester United and Liverpool, two biggest supporters clubs in the world. And what's happened here, this enjoyment that we've seen, what we've seen outside beforehand, it will be like that. It'll be in Kuala Lumpur, there's a flag just there. It'll be in Bangkok. It'll be in Singapore. They'll be celebrating in Australia, Venezuela, wherever you want to go. There'll be people sitting up watching this, relishing it. Almost something in Ireland. Hotbed of Liverpool fans and Man United fans. And they will go. Just come into that church. Nobody's right. It's just, this football club has given so much to so many, and it continues to give.
Yeah, I just to go back to the game today, whilst we've got a little bit of time before we get some reaction, and you said it yourself a little bit earlier about Tottenham, and the way that they folded today was, well, how much of a concern will it be to those travelling fans that came watch that? Because today it naturally will get overlooked because this day is all about Liverpool. It's all about Liverpool being champions, but I guess with the local media back in London, they will also focus on what was a bit of a mess.
It won't get overlooked. That's the point. I can only imagine what the board are thinking at Tottenham, and spoke about the fans and the disappointment they'll have. I think something like that on the manager, on Ange Postecoglou, is not great. I mean, they could have spoiled the party today. It's all about attitude. It's all about commitment to the cause. Yeah, we know Liverpool was set up today for Liverpool to win the title. We've got to offer more than what they have. And to be honest, they didn't even look like a team. They looked so dysfunctional. It was just like, do you know what? I know it's going to be quite strong to say, I was a little bit embarrassed for them. It was like, I don't think Liverpool played that well. I just thought Tottenham were that bad. And I think he's got big problems.
Yeah, I know they made changes. But my God, we were sitting there watching it, Rob, and I was like that after about 15 minutes the second half. They didn't have a clue.
Okay.
They were just chasing round, and we were cutting through them so easily. That's why we were saying before. There was times when we were getting through, trying to walk it in. They were an embarrassment. And I was watching Postecoglou in the first half, and he was quite bullish early on. In the end, he was like that. Honestly, it was deplorable. And I looked at Spurs still filled every seat in their end, and they must have been. So they've had some bad performances, and I know it's against a good team who've just won the league. But when I was talking about Spurs, and oh my goodness,
You've got to show more than Tom.
I know, because they've got a semi-final midweek. No matter how many changes he made, that was still a good team when he started. They had a good bench, but that was shocking.
But I guess that is when, if you are Daniel Levy or if you are Joe Lewis, that even if they are to get past Bodo Glimt and win the final, you can't not bring into the equation when you're thinking about the future of your club, the future of who your head coach should be, is performances like that.
I don't want to knock the achievements if they win a European trophy, because it's hard enough in its own right. But you know, they've got Bodo Glimt in the semi-final. They should end up in the final, and then it could be against Manchester United, who we know where they are. So they could end up winning the trophy quite easily, Tottenham. But it's got to be. I think you've got to look at it as consistency of where they are in the league. And I know they've had injuries, and I know they've been up against it. But I look at character when a team is up against it. You know, there's players. They've got a squad. You build a squad. You don't just have 11 players and lose 6 and play the rest kids, and then look at them and go, oh, the kids, they're inexperienced. He's had a squad to build a squad. Now then players, okay, they might be as good as the first 11 that you pick, but they can show character, they can show commitment, they can throw a tackle in, they can run around, they can look organised. You just didn't look like a football team at all.
It's a good point, Jace. I can't remember any of them getting angry, put a tackle in, taking a bad yellow card or something.
Yeah.
I know we don't want to see violence on a pitch, but we want players who are committed to the club. And he didn't lay a glove on us. And it was great for us, and we said how good it is. Postecoglou needs to be adaptable, and he's not. And you could still see it in his way that he hold an high line, what handsball for whatever it means, playing out from stupid positions and getting caught. So he doesn't adapt at any point.
But that goes back to the successful teams that you'd have been part of or overseen at Liverpool, that leadership, and Liverpool have had a great captain this season, Virgil van Dijk, and you think back to just a couple of weeks ago and the West Ham game where it goes to 1-1 and he thinks, well, we've got a corner, I'm going to stick my head on this and I'm going to win us the game, and that is what's lacking in Tottenham. But that is what he has in, he's almost the last of a generation of real old-fashioned captains, Virgil van Dijk.
Son is their captain. He's a winger. I'm not saying anything against wingers, but he's had a shocking season. And you'd make a big call at your football club to change that early in the season. That's what I'm saying. You've got to adapt. And you look and you go, I need to make this call. Because some of the players will be looking and going, is that our captain? He's not doing anything. He's not a leader either. He's a nice guy, what I see. And I'm thinking, this is not helping things in the dressing room or on the pitch.
I do see a bit of mismanagement at Spurs. I don't want to throw it all on Ange Postecoglou, but I think from the leadership team, obviously behind the scenes, the likes of Daniel Levy making big decisions. When we played them in the final of the Champions League, I think they overachieved to reach the final, but they did. But I think it was a real turning point for Spurs. It was, which direction are you going to go in now? Are you going to invest and now step into the next realms of where you want to be, try and get to that, or you're just going to filter away? And I think it has just filtered away. They've gone and lost Kane, lost some other big players, changed managers, the style of football's changed. They've got the beautiful new stadium, still not got naming rights on that stadium. You know, it's all set up, but we keep using this word, Spursy. They cannot get away from this type of Spursy. It's character.
To have in players. I was saying about McAllister and things like that. You look at them, you look at sort of Zoboslai. Now they look at players, they do the due diligence on the players. What I'm seeing, what we're looking for, as we did with our manager. And you see Spurs getting it wrong time and time again. I don't see any characters out there today. Didn't see anybody who wanted to be a leader. And you'll fall sooner rather than later. And I know we're talking about Spurs on LFC TV. They were our opposition. I don't want to see us go like that.
No.
And I want to see good leadership, not just on the pitch, in the background, in the boardroom, in the recruitment team. Not just picking the right players, but picking the right characters.
I felt sorry for Ange. I like him.
I do. I said
like
that before the game.
Yeah, and I felt sorry for. I think the players have let him down. Listen, he might have lost his. I don't know. we don't know. Like Tom said, we shouldn't really be talking about Spurs. It's not to do with us, but you know we are, and that's it. It's we're a Liverpool channel, so. But I do feel for them.
But just to go back to Liverpool then, and we've talked a bit about character and that game against West Ham, but there have been other times throughout the course of the season. Arne Slot has said it a few times actually, quite pointedly over the last few weeks, the amount of times that they've won by the odd goal. And he said, I think it was probably a reference to Manchester City, that we can't go out and be 3 or 4-0 up at half time every week, but actually to guts it out time after time shows more about what you've got in your locker psychologically.
Do you know, in a nutshell, is Arsenal drawing 13 times, we've drawn 7. So that tells you somewhere there's a bit of character within our team to make sure those things that could have been ending in draws were wins, getting over the line, making sure that we were there. We've had players throughout the season. That is why we are worthy winners of this Premier League. It's because of things like that. You don't play, Jason said earlier on, you don't play absolutely gold standard football every week. You have to have the right to ease your way through games and find a way to win.
Just one of the other things I think was maybe significant in terms of an improvement from last season, going into today, last season Liverpool only scored the first goal in a game 55% of times. This season it's up to 70% of times, and that felt like something which eventually caught up with them last season, that they kept having to go to the well to come back from 1-0 down, and in the first 2/3 of the season they kept on doing it, and eventually you felt like maybe that was part of the reason that they just ran out of steam a little bit, whereas this time, go 1-0 up, control the game, and maybe expend a little bit less energy.
That's the manager, isn't it? That's his tactics, his philosophy, and his personality. I can't imagine one of his teams going down 1-0 55% of the time in a season. I just don't think he manages like that. I think he's quite pragmatic in his starts. I wouldn't say Liverpool are the greatest team at starting really, really well and blowing teams apart. They can up the pace and they can mix it if they need to in the first 20 minutes. But I just think it's about controlling, getting the shape right, seeing what's happening, and then they start imposing themselves and dominating possession, working through the lines, and then ultimately it's putting your opportunities away. And when you've got strikers like Nunes, Jota, Diaz down the middle, you've got Mo Salah chipping in with goals, Gakpo on that side. You get into that final third and create opportunities, whether it's from the press or whether it's going through the lines, you're going to score goals. So they've just been more controlling and a little bit more pragmatic.
Well, we had slow starts right from the very first game against Ipswich. But you look at it and the way he plays and how he's changed it from that heavy metal type of football. This was very considered. The players at the back, they're trying to bring in Alisson more and more to go. And sometimes the first sort of 8 or 9 games, 10 games, we were all going, oh, this can be a little bit. And you go, oh, my goodness, it was flat. We had to get used to that style of play. But you know what it did? It made sure that we had people in defensive positions, that if we did turn over possession, we had people there. Whereas with Jurgens, we were already up there, and there was loads of room in behind, and we got punished. And it was quite interesting saying that. I thought, my goodness, yeah, that happened a lot last year, was losing that first goal.
Just to go back to something you were talking about earlier then about making it a bit of a dynasty or building on that success now. Now, I'm sure some of the discussions will already have happened about next season, but how much thinking will Arne Slot do about next season over the next few weeks, and how he might want to tweak it, or what sort of players he might want to bring in, or how his squad is going to look?
I would think that they'd be looking at it, and they have done for a while.
Yeah,
so we keep looking at social media stuff, we keep looking at newspapers, TV, what goes on, and you think sometimes there's a little bit of truth in that, because agents are like that. We've heard stories about Trent, all season. It happens. Some of them, they get it right. Some of them are taking the punt. But we have to be there. We have to be looking at the right players to improve our side. You do not, and we've probably been an exception to the rule of what we did last summer. Only one player coming in and changing it. But they don't have a good look at it and go, he's left me a good team here. He's left a very good team. I don't need to sort of tinker with this. I'll have a look what I've got. No, I can do it this side, at least until January.
I think as well, Tomo, I think it's been well documented Michael Edwards leaving the football club as, with Jurgen Klopp, they parted company, didn't they? And you know, I think having Michael Edwards back, I think the answer to your question is Michael Edwards and his football team will have started 3 or 4 months ago on who they identify as being candidates to come to the football club, and you know, they don't just pick one and throw all their eggs in one basket. You know, if they don't get him, then they move down to him. If they don't get him, and also it's a game of cat and mouse. Liverpool are Premier League champions. There's going to be a premium now. If you go knocking on the door of, I don't know, Isak's been in the news. You go knocking on the door for Isak, they're thinking, I want over 100 million for him. You know, so there's all different ways of manipulating the scenario, dealing with the scenario, and that would have started taking place 3 or 4
They
months
don't
ago.
tap up players. They can go through agents.
Thanks for clarifying.
No, absolutely. It's not like, oh, that seems to be what I'm not just talking about our football club. But these things you have to notice clauses now. We see more and more clauses in play. You find out with them. And what you want to do, what I think a lot of clubs, they don't want to be embarrassed. So they'll go and they'll tempt with players and their agents and say, are you interested, whatever. And if they go and look, there's another club interested here, you're going to end up with egg on your face. It's time to back away. So more and more, Richard Hughes has done a tremendous job. And you heard getting the signatures of Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, getting them over the line, was a big, big call to get them done. Obviously, it's not happened with Trent just yet, but we'll have to wait and see. But the people behind it, as our football club, deserve a lot of praise.
I agree with Tomo. I think that the 2 deals that were done, I think they were miles away in the beginning, and I think credit to the football club and to the players that they've obviously met in the middle somewhere and they've all agreed, and it's great for the football club, and the players are obviously happy with their deal as well. That takes a lot of management, you know, I think. And do you know what I love as well? Like, there was a time when a lot of stuff was getting out of this football club and everyone was reading about it, it was getting in the news. It seems to have gone back to certainly your days when nothing comes out. It's like no one knew. And even, you know, we're inside the club quite often and not, and even us, when we were talking to people did not.
I didn't have one
loose
taxi
lips.
driver.
No. Salah's signing. Salah's going.
Didn't have a clue.
No one had a clue. And that's the way that Liverpool have always conducted
And it's
themselves.
great that when they announced it, because it might have been done ages before. I feel like it was done quite a while. It was agreed. Yeah. And I think they waited until the right time. Didn't do the 2 of them at once, a week apart, to make sure at a vital time to give everybody a lift. And to go into this latter stages and go, these are done, which that pushed us over the line, and the results have pushed us over the line.
Just on recruitment then, what sort of areas and positions do you think he might be looking at?
After you, Jason.
Well, I think, listen, it's a very strong starting 11. You can't bank on them playing every week, and I think that's something that he'll have to adapt to, I think, that next season. I think he's got away with one a little bit this season in the sense of consistently picking a very similar team. He very rarely changes it, does he? And I think the fact that they've got this little buffer now has certainly helped them. I would argue as well that the needle's touching empty right now with the players. I think today was an exception because of the emotion of it, but I think the past few games have showed that we are running out of steam, and that and maybe a bit more rotation. You look at the business model of the football club, they need players to go, to bring in funds. Whoever that is, I have no idea. But should they raise enough funds, you know, I think there'd be someone in the forward line, I think a left back, as well as Robbo's done. You can't defeat age, you just can't do it. It's just one of them things, and it comes to everybody. And I think Robbo next season might play a few less games than what he's played maybe this season. So I'd go for a left back. Do you know the area that worries me if Trent goes? Right back. I love Conor Bradley, but I just don't know whether he can stay fit. It's just a thing that's over me. I'm like, again, he's injured again today, is he? I don't know. I hope he has a full fit season.
I put my trust in Conor. I think he's.
Oh, I would, yeah.
He's good defender. I think he's a little bit like Trent. He's good at going forward.
Yeah.
So I would think he's better defending than Trent. And obviously he's not got that range, that Trent. Nobody's got that. But I think going forward, I think he's all right.
If you're going to stick with him, Tomo, you're going to have to get covered, aren't you?
You're going to have to get cover for him. I don't know whether there's anybody coming through with the kids.
Yeah.
And you might But it looks, and you're quite right.
Guys, I'm just going to bring this to a close now.
The same group of players
And please
all the time.
click
And
to my
you
channel.
start to see a bench which is sticking out.
Subscribe to the channel, it's free to subscribe. This is for all them massive Liverpool fans out there. And it's from the Yorkshire Scouser. Up the Reds, up the Reds.
It makes you think, does the manager not?
Thanks for watching that, guys. I had to share that with you all. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, it's free. Click, share with all your friends. And I'm sure there's more to come. I'll see you in the next video.